Chapter 5, Mishnah 1. A central subject of this tractate is the Kesubos payment that a wife collects from her husband or his estate, if he divorces her or dies before her. If she was a virgin when she married him, she is entitled to 200 zuz. If she was not a virgin, for example, a widow or a divorcee from a previous marriage, she receives only 100 zuz. This Mishnah discusses the law where a husband committed himself to pay more than the standard amount. We now turn to the words of the Mishnah. Even though the sages said that a virgin collects 200 zuz and a widow collects a maneh, 100 zuz, if a groom wants to add even 100 maneh, 10,000 zuz, he may do so. Then, if she becomes widowed or divorced, whether during Erusin or Nisuin, she collects everything, including the extra amount. The next Tana disagrees regarding a marriage that ended during Erusin. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah says, if she was widowed or divorced after Nisuin, she indeed collects everything. But if she was widowed or divorced during Erusin, a virgin collects only the basic 200 zuz, and a widow collects only the basic maneh. She is not entitled to the additional amount, because it is assumed that he pledged it to her only on the condition that he brings her into his domain with Nisuin. Therefore, since this marriage never reached Nisuin, he makes only the minimum payment. The Mishnah discusses whether the amount of the Kesubos may be decreased. Rabbi Yehuda says, if the groom wishes and his bride agrees, he may write for a virgin a Kesubos contract of 200 zuz, and she writes, I received a maneh, 100 zuz from you, even though she has not received anything. And for a widow, he may write a contract of a maneh, and she writes, I received 50 zuz from you. Then, when the Kesubos becomes payable, he only has to give 100 zuz in the case of the virgin, and 50 zuz in the case of the widow. The next Tana disagrees. Rabbi Meir says, if anyone reduces the amount for a virgin to less than 200 zuz, or the amount for a widow to less than a maneh, even in the manner described above, this cohabitation between them is immoral cohabitation. Since the Kesubos has been reduced to less than the minimum, it is as though they are not married, and thus they are forbidden to live together.